World's editor-at-large, Yusuf Erim, is also in Brussels.
As the donor conference for earthquake victims in Türkiye and Syria continues here at the European Commission, we continue to bring you special guests now. Joining me is the Türkiye resident representative for the UNDP, Louisa Vinton. Thank you for joining us. I want to hear your thoughts on how the donor conference is progressing.
Well, I think it was an excellent opportunity for Türkiye to underline just how unprecedented a disaster this is, to explain the scope, the scale, the loss in human terms, but also the loss in financial terms. So we were able to, together with the Presidency for Strategy and Budget, the World Bank, and UNDP representing the UN, to present our estimate of $103.6 billion as the cost. So I think it was good to be able to present that. Then we look for the responses from donors. What we see is probably around $6 billion in response for Türkiye, also some for Syria, including a new commitment of 1.1 billion euros from the European Commission. So it depends on how you look at it. The needs are so huge that 6 billion can seem quite small, but in the scale of the donor community, which is obviously committed to supporting Ukraine, to supporting other humanitarian disasters in the world, supporting Syria, this is a significant amount, and I think it gives us a foundation on which to work to continue to explain that now is a time for solidarity and for generosity towards Türkiye.
Now, everyone has pledged their financing for earthquake victims in Turkey and Syria. What's the next step? Where do we go from here?
The next step is to ensure that countries follow through on these pledges. We know that there has been an outpouring of humanitarian assistance, of emergency assistance, search and rescue, and medical terms. Now we need to see the new funding translated into what we call early recovery, recovery and reconstruction, so that whatever we do can help bring people closer to normal life. And we know in the south and southeast of Turkey, people are still living in tents, in containers. What we need to do is ensure that that funding is used to start steps to build life back together, to build back better, as we say, to ensure that people won't be at risk anymore to future disasters. So it's a question of following up on commitments and moving forward with implementation.
What is the UNDP specifically focusing on right now, especially when we look at the immediate needs? What is number one on your priority list?
Number one is ensuring that vulnerable people get the services they need. We see in particular that elderly people, persons with disabilities, in some cases women with small children, are at high risk of all sorts of factors in the aftermath. And now we see that, unfortunately, and we do express our condolences, the earthquake has been followed by flash floods in some areas. So it's ensuring that the people who have the smallest voices in this situation are served along with everyone else.
What other United Nations institutions are you coordinating with, and inside the European Union, who are you coordinating with? What type of synergy is being created in this response?
It's crucially important in the situation where we see that money is stretched all over the world, that people have needs at home and are finding it very hard, even though they express solidarity and condolences, are finding it hard to put together additional funding. So coordination is important, that where everyone works in the area of greatest strength, so that the UN system is working with humanitarian organizations out in front on providing tents, providing winter clothes, providing hot meals. We hear from our colleagues in the World Food Program that they've provided 6 million hot meals already in Turkey alone. So that's the day-to-day needs of people being met, of drinking water, of a warm place. Now it's not always so warm in the south and southeast. So at the same time, we're focused as UNDP on more development-oriented recovery. So getting people back to work, getting people to normal life, ensuring that whatever money comes into the community as humanitarian funding is spent locally. It's not bringing goods from outside, but for example, in Hatay, we know it's citrus harvest, to try to buy locally, to serve locally, to employ local people in the response. So we're working everyone in a lane, but together as one family.
I personally want to thank you for your efforts. Louisa Vinton, Türkiye resident representative of the UNDP, thank you for joining us. Back to the studio.